welcome. I'm Carla Collins of Carla Collins Rocks the Elmo, and the Elmo is going to rock out hard. We're going to rock out with our Crocs out. That's just the lesbian in me. It could happen. I'm drinking. Here's why I'm drinking today. I'm having champagne because it's sort of my spirit animal. It's light, bubbly, goes down easy. You get the connection.
You got champagne? You only gave me wine.
Wait, I'm doing my intro. I knew it. And we're keeping it real. Still doing the intro, boys. So I have the two most infamous men in Canada as my guests today. No lie. And this is, I love bad boys. I'm very drawn to bad boys because I have more daddy issues than the cast of Succession and Luke Skywalker. Let's be honest. These are least, okay? I can't breastfeed. I don't know what would come out. My best guess, glitter. And I have the two enfants terribles with me here on the show tonight, but tonight. Well, it feels like the nighttime because we're drinking. It's actually noon when we're recording this. Here's the thing.
It's nighttime somewhere.
These guys, both of them, we're going to try and set some of the records straight and get the fact from fiction, because I have, I was going to call him my boss, but I'm the boss. It's basically, he's
Totally
going to be
true.
Tony Danza to my Judith Light. I have Michael Wekerle. I'm only saying his name first because this is his place. We're all here thanks to him. God bless. We're rocking the Elmo, keeping it going through the pandemic. So Michael Wekerle, the bad boy dragon, the finance king, and I do a killer Wekerle impression, so you're going to want to hang around just for that. He is here, along with, get ready, the man who is so relieved that Yahoo turned off other comment section. I've known him forever. I love him. He's pretty infamous in his own right. It's Dean McDermott. What?
What?
It's Dean McDermott. And you know when they do the movie of my life, Tori Spelling is playing me, so I'm really excited about this show. So get yourself some, I don't know what goes with this show. I'm going to guess absinthe with like a fistful of cat tranquilizers.
Yeah, maybe. Well, there's a reason why he's in the position A. I'm in position B. He is first hand
I thought
stage.
you were in position A because you're closer to Carla.
No.
Or is my
Actually,
reputation that bad we need to keep me
You had
away
to be,
from
well,
you?
So, no, just my sexual power is so strong, as
Yeah.
some of the other guests are finding out. Even if it wasn't social distancing, you still have to remain this far away from me.
Which
I'm
we
having
are social
feelings.
distancing. We
I'm-
have our
I'm
mask, and we've
You get in
actually
the
made
feels?
sure that COVID is very important right now. And Dean brought this up earlier. He said, make sure that we have the proper protocol. And Carla, you're very proud of that as well. So thank you for
Taking
taking
temperatures,
the case.
taking names. I'm clear, mostly because I worked out in Gold's Venice for a long time, and Corona's terrified of anything that I may already have.
Yeah, but
So-
why did you give me why did everyone else have to do that thing with the spot check, and I had to take that thermometer and go to the bathroom?
Well, you
She
know,
made you do it yourself. She did it for
I
me.
did it twice.
No, she did it for me.
you have to pay extra.
That's the
See what I
kind
mean?
of that's the
Oh
kind of
my
love
God.
we have for each
It's
other.
going to be
She
like the
just-
lap dance of all interviews, and I've interviewed a lot of people. But where to start? Okay, let's start with give us. And I know this could take a while, but you have so many anecdotes, Michael, and I love you. And by the way, this is my Michael Wekerle impression. Carla, I fucking love you. I fucking love you. I don't know.
It's
All of
true.
a sudden he's from Newfoundland or Scotland or
It
something.
sounded a little
Where's
Irish.
that accent
A little
from?
Irish.
Well,
Sounded a little Irish.
It's a little.
I'll just say, it's funny because, I do like to tip the odd drink. And the more I drink, because I had a stutter as a child and buck teeth, they've all got knocked out eventually over time. And so they're all kind of fake.
Who are you talking to? Do you think these are real? Come on.
Yeah, right. Nobody
I
has
will
real
fight
teeth
you right
anymore.
now.
One of my friends, as I was going out in the evening, said, I can't understand what you're saying. He goes, you're speaking Wekerle. So I kind of have my own language. It changes, depending on the variety of drinks I drink. And Jack Daniels, it gets a little bit more, and Jameson, it's a little bit more on the Irish side.
Yeah?
If I go into the Zambuca, come sta bene, grazie. You never know.
How many times have you had
That
your
doesn't make
teeth
any
knocked
sense,
out?
but I love it.
Well,
Because I learned he had his nose broken 12 times.
yeah,
And that,
12.
was that the
I
same
think that's a
time,
record.
though? Like, did you get it broken 12 times
is
in
it
one
one night?
fight, or was
Well,
that spread
6
out?
times by what I would say someone's fist got in my face,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel sorry for the guy because I think his hand really hurt. 2 times were by sports, or 3 times by sports, soccer and
Okay.
hockey, and the remaining were just to get it rebroken, which will hurt way more than anything else I've ever done, to get it rebroken, to get it fixed. So, I've had every kind of scraping and surgery that could go there, but I never thought much about it at the time, but like I said, I'm not a good fighter. I have no knuckles left. The knuckles are gone.
Yeah.
Obviously, I did not put a very big impact on my opponent. I'm no Conor McGregor for sure. And when you stand up to somebody when you're getting into a situation, I got a great front line. Unfortunately, when the person's really tough, and as we had the Singing Soldiers on in the podcast earlier today, and you'll see these guys, they're incredible people. They're the tough guys. Like, they're the guys that live and breathe it. I was the guy that would speak so much my tongue sweats, and then bang!
Never heard that
Never
one.
heard that. Yeah, that's a good one.
I have a great front line
Speaks so
too.
much-
Now, honestly, the thing is about both of you and having some fun, and you have had the bad boys, and you've both been tabloid prey, but you both also have hearts the size of whales. Like, you really are. You're awesome people, and I love it because I think your characters, you make it interesting. God kills you when you're boring.
Yeah.
And you guys might just live longer than Keith Richards.
Yeah, well, from your lips to God's ears.
But honestly, Dean, this is your moment, maybe, and I know you, but don't give me any of the press junket bullshit or anything you tell that, don't give clickbait or give more clickbait. Do something, right? But I want to know people's portrayal or their image of you. What I read sometimes, is that you? Is that because, hey, we got a
God,
reality
no.
show, we're making it entertaining?
No.
Tell
no,
me the truth.
No. How I'm portrayed in the press is not me at all. I have made some mistakes in my life, and it has been well documented, and I've hurt a few people in the process, but that's not me. I'm not the deadbeat dad. I'm not the home wrecker. I'm not really a bad boy. I'm genuinely a nice Canadian guy. I really am. And you gotta sell magazines. So they're not interested in anything positive. They're not gonna do, hey, this is a story on how great Dean McDermott is.
He just saved an orphanage.
Yeah.
Yawn.
No, yeah.
Who's he doing?
Yeah, that's so
yeah,
true.
he's
I
doing this,
understand
he's broke, he's this, he's that. So, all
So do you
that's...
guys lean into it? Do you play that up? Have you made it work for you?
No, because that stuff, and for any of you out there who are in the same position, the best thing to do is just to not say anything.
Very true.
A publicist we had she would drive me nuts because I'm like, okay, I want to find this writer and kick the shit out of him, right? Like, I want to confront them, and this is bullshit, and I want to make a statement. And she was just like, no, just don't say anything, because even if you say no comment, they can continue with the story. And
But
that's
I
what they
will say
want.
this: you do defend your wife. I've seen you on Insta saying, for you guys dragging Tori, like
Yeah,
you do defend,
it
and I
drives
love
me.
that.
It drives me crazy when they drag my wife.
Or
And
your family.
He's married
or-
to Tori Spelling, by the way, in case you're listening. From
And he has 5 children.
6.
6 in total, 5 with Tori, and then one.
Yeah.
With,
Sorry, 6
one
children.
With my ex, yeah.
Actually, you know what's true? I have 5 children, and I have an adopted child, Andre.
You
so
both
I-
have
wow.
6 children. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Again, this didn't just happen, guys. I'm over here
Wow,
creating fucking
you
magic.
done your research.
And no
you
one's
did
giving
your research.
I know you
Nice.
just think that I'm a sex symbol, but it's so much more than that, boys.
Well,
So
we're only
much
have time with
We're
your
only human.
international
We're only
modeling
human,
career.
Carla.
I'm joking. So, Michael, before we get into anything, we're here because of you. It's Carla Collins Rocks the Elmo. You brought this back to life. This is your maybe Frankenstein. You breathed life into it. How did this all happen? I know I joked on stage. I got the absolute huge honor and pleasure of performing here early this year in that one window where everything was open. 50 people came in here. I did 2 shows. Boom, it all shut back down again.
Because of you?
Well, something's
They're like,
open.
that was the worst show ever.
Yes, a lot of things opened too early, including my mouth.
She
Dean.
actually Carla did an incredible job. There were some
She's
hecklers
so
here.
good.
And most hecklers she knew, and she shut them down. I'd never seen a man of that nature who was a very, positive
Lawyer.
individual, and within 3 words, she shut him down, and that was it. I go, wow, that
I
was
had to
cool. I
keep
wish I
shutting
could do
them
that.
down. A lot of
Don't
Wex,
mess with Collins.
fancy, rich friends were there, so I had billionaires row up there, and they're like, we get to do what we want. 2 tried to buy me. I was like, listen, I'm a little too old for the Epstein compound. What's happening? All of a sudden, they were like, just freaking like butlers upstairs. Oh, warm kitten to wipe your ass, sir? Warm kitten. So I was
That
just
would
like,
be fabulous. I
you
mean,
know.
I love animals. It'd be horrible, but how great would it be to wipe your
I'm
ass
staying at a farm right now.
with
It's
a warm kitten?
fantastic. We've got kittens. We've got warm kittens. You should see the guest bathroom. Too bad there's COVID. So I get to use the kittens. But Michael, give us the Reader's Digest version of how did this come to be? I know it's a passion project.
And God bless you for doing it, because
Yes.
places like these are
Golf clap.
they're
Yeah.
dying. And
Yeah.
so
And I feel
cheers to you, sir.
thank you, Dean. Man, it's a cool statement, because a lot of our friends in the city, whether it's the Orbit Room or the Rivoli or Hughes Room
Yeah.
or the Mod Club, or every single venue that I can go on and on. My friends at the Hideout. It's been a very tough time, and it's a combination of the growth of the city of Toronto. I grew up on Yonge Street, Yonge and Shepherd under the bridge of the north side of it, so not the fancy side, but it was good. And, with immigrant parents, and it was great, and I just loved, I had paper routes and walked down, and I'd try to sneak in the El Mocambo when I was underage, and when I was of age and working on Bay Street, it was like, wow, I made it, I'm at the El Mocambo. And
it's always been iconic.
it was a legend.
I mean, the Stones played here. I think this is where Mick banged Maggie Trudeau.
Really?
Well,
Yeah, it
there
really
is
pissed off Justin's father. Fidel Castro hasn't talked to him since.
No, for sure.
Thank you.
Well, there
my
is some
podcast.
debate on which Rolling Stone did do that, but I'll leave that to the band. But
I'm not bogged down by facts, Michael.
well, when Sam Grosso came to me and asked me about this, I drove down to buy the sign, and that was the only objective. I wanted to put it in Caledon in my property there.
Is that true? So that's a true story? You just
100%.
wanted to buy the sign?
sign.
Yeah, I came to
Wow.
buy the sign. So Q107, they had a big advertisement. The El Mocambo sign is for sale, and for me, it was like part of my upbringing. It was like, the thing I could never really get to, because I was born in 1963, so by 1981, I can drink in the bars, because 18 was the year of age to drink. And it was difficult. I didn't have a lot of money, so coming in here, and it was always packed. So to see a big show, next to impossible. I'm sneaking in and getting kicked out, and but me and my friends were just dying to be part of this scene. I never, I played as a kid. I was a wannabe musician, and I never got paid. Even, when I bought the El Mocambo, I said, to people, my musician joke is that, I finally played the El Mocambo, which I did. When I closed the deal, I just had to buy it first.
That's one way to do it.
And it's a true story. I closed the deal.
I love
My
it.
mom's in the front row. God bless her. She passed away in January. And, it was a really unique time. But when I came down there, Sam Grosso, a great guy, spent 6 years of his life spending a lot of his own money, almost taking himself out, ran the Cadillac Lounge at the same time. He says, Mike, I need help. It's going to turn into a computer store. If I can get over
horrible.
X amount of
God.
dollars,
That would be horrible.
can you do it? And, at that time, I was making some good money in the stock market. And I said, all right, yeah, done. And I never knew what I was getting into, because it was my first foray into the venue of music.
Because this is
I've been
completely
around.
new for you, despite your rock and
Oh, yeah,
roll,
no.
image.
So I knew one thing is that, as I got into the process and I saw how difficult it was, we found, the El Mocambo has gone through 3 different fires as we took down levels of the ceiling. The basement was 4 feet high. We had to get people to hand dig out the basement so we could put in 28 bathrooms within the facility. And like I said, if you're over the height of 5 feet, you're not getting a job digging out the basement. So we went there, we found all these great artifacts that were here, from apothecary bottles to carved stones, as this was in Wikipedia, one of the transfer stations for the Underground Railroad.
You're kidding
Yeah,
me.
check it out. Like, I didn't make this up.
This
I
is
saw
a
it.
great origin story.
This is
Yeah,
fantastic.
and I'm going, like, at this point, I'm going, that's really cool, but what else do we find? And they found a bullet in the wall. I go, oh, that's not good. So now I go, guys, please don't tell me you found a dead body. They didn't do that, so thank God.
Well, they didn't tell you.
Well, hey, I'm pretty sure it didn't happen, but what I did realize after a few years of making mistakes and stumbling and trying to do this, it was really something that I said, if you're going to do it, you got to do it well. And to do something well, you have to get the best team. And what I was very lucky to do is get the likes of the people that are currently here, the Jamie Howisons, Doug McClements of the world, the Ken Freezes, the Terry Walkers of the world. These guys have really, Andy Kerr and Julie Hott, like all the people that came through here. And I was able to attract some really great young talent, Alicia Hibbert and Max Lawson, my daughters. Yeah, I feel like a restaurateur. I got all my children working here.
You
my
said
twin
you're like
boys.
a great grandmother.
I am. You know, my daughter Carly and
I
Danielle.
love Carly.
And Raquel's
I love
a
all your
singer.
daughters. Raquel is amazing. I
Adam
know
and
I
Ashley, the
bonded with your
twins, are
daughters
working
big
here.
time, and the twins are, well, I've just
Yeah,
adopted
they're
them.
supermodels. But
Was there ever a point where you were just like, I can't do this, it's too much, I'm going
if
to walk
it wasn't
away?
once, it was 100 times. I walked away from this probably 20 times because, you know, the problem is that every time I went to a challenge and would book a show, something would come up. We had 4 false alarms. to
Even
open.
pre-COVID?
Oh, way before COVID. Like this
Wow.
we started this construction 6.5 years ago. I brought in the new team about, let's say, 3.5, 4 years ago. They completely changed it, and I really respect what they did because we had an analog system, we had an in-venue system, and to the benefit of the people that are really good at this industry, and they work all over the city. They do MLSC, they do tons of great things on a global basis, and Solo Tech and the people that were giving me advice that, you know, think 10 years forward, do it digital. So we revamped the whole system with fiber optics, going right to the Roberts station from a portability point of view for technology, making sure that our latency is next to nothing.
And you can stream. You've got the best
Yeah,
streaming
and
system,
that
which
I
is
really
so
I don't
clutch
take credit.
right now.
This is Toronto's barn. I really give credit to the people who have done it for me. But what I really found was interesting is that, you know, every time I had scheduled to do things, something went wrong. It was a permit issue. It was this issue. So for 3 years, I had 3 false starts. And I said, you know what's going to be really funny? Is I'm going to open this on April 1st, April Fool's, and say, you know what? I'm going to open it. And as I announced that in January, that it would be April 1st as we're opening. I thought it'd be so funny, you know, because I was the boy who cried wolf for so many years. And the joke was on me. Oh, COVID, like, are you kidding me?
Global pandemic.
As Ronnie Hawkins says, Wack, if you didn't have bad luck, you'd have no luck.
No luck at all. Oh, my aunts used to say that. They run the Joan of Arc bingo in the Sioux. Not to name drop.
The best,
but,
the best quote I've ever heard was from Ronnie Hawkins. I worked with him on Due South. And he was like, if I had killed her when I wanted to, I'd be out by now. I just love that.
Look at the men with several wives laughing.
You know, the one thing great about life is you create stories. And I followed Dean's career through TV and his
You're
lifestyle.
the one. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I have. I'm the guy. I'm one of your fans. And
It's fascinating.
And you know, having been a Toronto guy and knowing all the people that of your past, I'm really impressed with, you know, it's perseverance is really key to success. And to have perseverance is you got to stand up. You know, when I had the article in the Globe and Mail, which was a business section ROB magazine, it said the God of trading. It was supposed to be about the team. And next thing you know, they're taking pictures like this. And you see these big nostrils. And it was great, but it was terrible. The next day, they write an article saying, oh, your time is over. Everyone who's been on the front cover have like gone down. You might as well change your name and move to Belize. I go, wow, that was cold.
That's harsh.
I'll tell you something. No,
but as you said, that's
you
what
can't
media wants.
listen.
Yep.
They want to keep that. Then I'm in Frank Magazine for 5 days or 5 weeks. I go, this is not really working. This whole
Frank
publicity
Magazine is a
thing.
parody magazine out of Canada. I'm just giving references for people listening all over
Sure,
the world.
true. Frank Magazine is the National Enquirer of Canada.
But it kind of is. But listen, my first husband gave
about
me some
Frank
great
Magazine.
advice. We're still best friends, and a really great review came out about a show I was doing called Chez Carla. This is not unlike it.
I remember Shea Carla.
And it was like it was Rebecca Eckler from the Post. It was through the roof. And he said, careful, you don't want to believe that one because then you got to believe the shitty ones.
Yeah.
And it's a great thing to go by. Like, you can't go by reviews. You can't go by. You have to do your own thing. Keeps coming out and coming out. Every show that we're taping here, everybody says the same thing. So,
Well, Dean said it very well because I think, Dean, you've been in the spotlight, especially, you know, Canada, we don't step on ants here, you know, we say sorry when we will go in front of somebody in a door.
Right.
But in the U.S., you've had the benefit of being on both worlds. What a tough world that is. I just want to say, how did you go through the adversity in the publicity in the U.S. being a very visual personality?
Not well. not well. No, because the thing is, these people who write these horrible stories, they don't give a shit how you feel, because when you read these articles, when you see them on the newsstands, you think everybody is reading them and that everybody is believing that about you. So you can get to a real dark place and actually think that about yourself.
For
like,
sure.
you can actually convince yourself. And I've been to some real lows, real depression, real lows, just thinking like, yeah, I am a piece of shit. I am all those things, and it's very dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. And again, they don't give a shit. They just want to keep pumping out stories to sell magazines.
So what do you do to keep your sense of self? I mean, I'm going to guess family, but how do you, just keep strong and say, all right, I'm not going to, because listen,
Discipline.
we're human, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to be affected by it.
You really got to be disciplined. You got to be disciplined in the sense that you can't respond to it. You got to be disciplined in the sense that you can't let it affect you. You really have to constantly check in with yourself. And, is this affecting me? Am I starting to go down that rabbit hole, depression? And you have to be disciplined about not looking at negative comments, on social
That's
media,
a great statement.
on these these internet sites. Stay away from the comment sections because there are some nasty people out there that say the nastiest things.
Well, I joked about that because, I've been a buddy of yours for a long time, and then we actually reunited about a year or 2 years ago, because
I think it was
Dean's
even
doing
longer.
stand-up.
Wow.
And yeah.
Well,
he was-
many talents.
and guess what? Because I was like, oh boy. When someone tells me they're doing stand-up, I'm like,
yeah.
well, this could really go one of 2 ways.
Yeah.
And because we're both Canadian, I'm like, well, come, I'm headlining, come do a show. And he's terrific. Because he's got a lot of stuff
Thank
to
you.
mine.
It was the Federal.
At the Federal Bar in North Hollywood.
One of my favorite spots.
And then Dean called me up, so this is about a year ago. He said, will you come to this charity show? And it's at my gym, and we're both gym whores, rats. I mean, we're.
As you can tell,
I'm working out
hey,
right now. Well, there's been a
drink it in.
pandemic. There's been a pandemic, so neither one
I'm
of us are
buying
getting
bigger
into it.
suits. As
Dude,
my
I'm
workout.
I'm at home trying to make Botox out of like almond milk, crazy glue, and essential oils. Okay, so the glamour and bodies are taking a hit. We're all fine with it, but my dog had just passed away, Michael. So I'm just saying yes to anything. I'm like, okay, I'll be there.
Yeah.
And then-
You make a good point.
It was
there,
I
Carla.
was not on my game, and then there was some chick who was doing way more time than she should, and I'm like, what
Oh,
the
yeah.
fuck is this bitch doing?
Yeah, I loved it. 'cause
It's
Carla's
not at
next to
all
going,
me. Like I was in
I
this
gave her the light like 3
huge
times.
grief, and Dean said all I saw was me going, "Ah, come on. She was getting no laughs, by the way.
Yeah, no, she wasn't.
But it's all part of it. And
But
I said,
then-
I just
but-
want to apologize. I was in a bit of grief. I probably shouldn't have been out in public, but thank you for having me.
You know what though? You were fantastic. You crushed.
Yeah, well, both of you hit on
Every time I've seen your set, you're so funny. So
Thank you.
funny.
Thanks so
And that was a
much,
great
Dan.
event too. It was a cancer event.
Yeah,
We raised something like $3,500.
Yeah, it was
That's
great.
great.
It was
Yeah.
like at his
Anybody you can
local
raise for
hood.
any charity, and you both
Right?
hit on really unique things. Because I'm a big believer in mental health. I've had some challenges and troubles and tribulations. I've been a single father since 2010, raising 5 children and taking
Wow.
on Andre
Kudos.
as a chosen son, I call him, not an adopted son. And I had a real difficult time, and I went to a space where I was, abusing my body, and mental health was a big thing. And I got in touch with CAMH, and they did a lot of good for me. And I met a friend of mine who's a very seasoned guy and, had his ups and downs in business, was a multi-billionaire, back to zero, back to up, back to down. And he quoted a line from Henry Ford II. He says, never complain, never explain, because I was going through what we go through when people start criticizing you. As you said before, Dean, the more you say, the more they have ammunition to go there. And it's not really what I care about. I don't care. You can affect me, but it's your children.
Yeah,
it's
families.
the person around you that you really have to protect. And unfortunately, people don't have the empathy that can look at that because they want to sell papers. I understand the business side of life. I've been there all my life. But, it's one thing is that, the only thing that's consistent in life is one thing, and that's change. And people
Yep.
want to see change, and they prefer change on a negative way. And I'm a big fan of Wayne Gretzky, yet I don't think he gets the acclaim that he should in Canada. He's great, but he's the great one, and I think that we have to elevate our winners. And,
Well, we don't have the
elevate
hero
Dean,
mentality the
elevate
US
you.
does.
There's a lot of
Exactly.
great Canadian people that go to the US, and we have great, like, of the top 10 artists, Drake, The Weeknd, Justin Bieber, Shawn Mendes, you know, it goes on, and Justin Reyes. Like, there's probably in the top 20, a very big percentage are Canadian,
Well, the
but they're in
Grammy
the
announcements
U.S.
just
So we
came
lose
out,
this
so
great
yeah.
talent to the U.S. You know, you two guys are great examples of that.
Yeah, it happens to actors and comedians too. I mean, when I first started, you know, coming up through I've been doing this for 34 years. So when I first started,
Dean was a child star.
oh, yes, just a wee. I think I started at 4.
By the, you know, Dean, actually, my older gentleman lover and I just watched you a few months just before I came here, Open Range, and you're fantastic.
Oh, you
Kevin
saw Open
Costner
Range?
movie.
Ah,
He really, I
thank
mean,
you.
you probably don't hear that a lot in interviews, but
Thank you, and
and he's an
that's
actor, and he said,
a long
Dean,
time ago.
and you've met Craig, and he said, Dean is fantastic in this.
Wow, God bless
So-
him. But thank your lover.
Pretty
for me.
cool. Oh, I will.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, so I think people aren't aware of that, right? Because you become a reality star.
Well, see,
that's
the
all
thing
they know
that
you from.
really, that's the thing that really bit me in the
You're
ass.
a great actor.
Thank you. But that's what really bit me in the ass. You know, before I went to Los Angeles, I had, what's the math on it, 26 years under my belt as an actor. And, you know, we got this offer to do this reality show, Tori and Dean in Love, and then it turned into Tori and Dean Home Sweet Hollywood. And it was like, yeah, you know, and the money was fantastic. So did like 4 or 5 years of reality television. And all of a sudden, I'm either Tori Spelling's husband,
Right.
Mr. Tori Spelling, or that reality guy. And I'm like, no. Look at my IMDb. Like, I've
Been working
I'm an
forever.
actor. I just did this to make some dough. I didn't think it would affect me that much. So I can't get arrested in the States. So, and the great thing about Canada, and I'm loving being back home.
Well, to that point, let's talk about what you're doing right now,
Yeah.
because it sounds phenomenal. You're doing a CBC-NBC collaboration called Lady Dicks.
Yep.
You can imagine how that appeals to me, because I have a giant
It's
one.
not what you think.
Or is it? No, and obviously it's a
Well,
police
I wanna
procedural,
reveal
but
something to
comedy.
you today.
Exactly. I've been hanging with drag queens my whole life. I know how to talk. Okay, but it is this great 1 hour like procedural, comedy
it's
with
a
some
1 hour
Tell
procedural
them.
cop show, but it's a comedy. Again, it's for the CBC, NBC,
You got some big guns on there,
Universal,
too.
and I am thrilled to be working with Meredith McNeil from the Baroness von Sketch Show. She is just supremely talented and funny. And Adrienne Seymour from Orange is the New Black, and she's hilarious. As well as the whole cast and crew of this show. It's Cameron Pictures, it's Amy and Tassie Cameron. They're so good. They're great writers, and it's a great show. It's so much fun.
I can't wait.
So
And
much
you know
fun.
what I have to say, you know, known you for a long time. Back when we were both in Canada working and acting, we were both on Tracker. Not to drop names. You don't know what that is, kids? Look it up. But
It was actually a good show.
it was a
right?
great show.
It could have been a really
Some of my
good-
best work. But we did a lot of the shows, and you know, you came on my show, and we'd have like trailers near each other because
Right.
like, hey, I was always like a special guest star. I played the slut or the bitch. I've got the range of Fisher Price walkie-talkies, but that's not important right now.
A Daisy air rifle.
Exactly, then we reconnected in LA. But I have to say, in all honestness and honesty, I've never seen you happier than today. Like, it just seems like you're thrilled to be doing what you love, huh?
I've been here since August, and it's been a real journey for me, and I don't want to cry. Oh my God, we were talking about people
Yes, he
crying
does
on the show.
that.
But I get very emotional about it because I really found myself again. I
Good for you.
I
It
was
shows,
so
honey.
lost in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
and so down on myself, and just thought I was worthless, and you know, nobody would hire me. And God bless Canada because they still remember me as a good actor, so they'll give me a shot.
Well done.
And they gave me a shot, and I got it.
And you took your shot.
And I took my
importantly.
shot, and I got it, and I've been home now, like I said, since August. Missed the family terribly. It's been really hard.
Are you going to bring them here?
Well, we were supposed to shoot through until January because we came up a couple days short, but we're starting to work 6-day weeks. We're starting to work on Saturdays so that people can go home for Christmas. So I was going to be here until about mid-January, and again, mixed feelings with it because like I can't wait to see my family. I was going to bring them up if I
But
had
I
to
mean
stay till
bringing them
January.
up permanently. I mean moving to Canada is what I'm
Well,
throwing at you.
okay, all right. I thought you were just the
No,
show,
no,
but
no,
yeah,
I mean freaking Christmas. Who knows when this will air? We could be past Christmas, so I want to know.
I want to move back home.
You do.
I do. I want to move the family back home because again, this journey I've been on, I've reconnected with friends and my family, which has been huge, and I went to the U.S. and I wanted to, grab that big brass ring and make a name for myself, and I turned my back on Canada. I was like, you know what, glass ceiling, they eat their young, I'm done with it. And now being back, I'm like, it's an incredible lifestyle. It's a really beautiful place to live, to raise your kids, to have a nice quality of life. And now, I just turned 54 in November, and
you're youngin'.
Yeah, it's only 3 years. Get out of here.
I'm 35 American.
35 American.
I'm all about quality of life, and
because you know what's important now. You've been through. I think at one point, and you've always been, I think, very honest. You're like, I need some help. I'm in a dark place. I'm making some bad decision genes.
Yep.
I'm gonna go.
As everyone does.
And so, one of the things I've been asking everybody, and we're having some hoots on this show every time, but I want to know what what became your God? What saved you? When did you? Because every rock bottom has a false bottom, and we all know that. We're like, oh, I'm at rock bottom. Oh wait. So what was it that kind of made that shift for you, or began to make the shift for you, Dean?
My son, Bo. Bo was a happy accident, and I was 50. I'm gonna be a dad again at 50, and I was in a place where I didn't want to be around anymore. I didn't want to be on this planet, and he saved my life.
Good for you.
That's beautiful.
I have these incredible kids.
Well, I met Liam backstage of the comedy show, and honest to God, the kid is, what was he, how old is Liam?
When he was 11.
11 going on 40.
When we did that gig,
Because I said, what, is this kid 40? Because I just wanted to go and have a beer with him.
Yeah. No, he was peering out the door, and he watched
He's just an old soul,
everyone's
Michael.
set.
He really
But
is.
isn't it amazing that, you're sitting on the outside, or I'm sitting on the outside, and I see, Dean going to the U.S. and becoming a success through adversity, coming back to Canada full circle. And you as an outsider, and I know this for my own life, as people talk about when I was in the stock market, you're the whack, you have this, but you really don't know how it really affects how every day you're more critical of yourself than you are of anything else. And you put on a brave face, you're expected to put on a brave face, and I think that's a great example for kids that are growing up. There are going to be adversities. There are going to be times where you're going to be put down for no other reason but malice. And rising above it is difficult, and no one is different, and you just said it very clearly right there.
Dean, we had the singing soldiers on this show, and these, been to Afghanistan, and I'm going to say to you what I said to them, straight up, being as open and beautifully honest as you just were on this show probably saved lives, because we just think, especially now with pandemic and shutdown, we feel so isolated and we don't feel like anyone. And look, we're all smoke and mirrors, especially as we mentioned.
We're smoking something in Canada.
Well, because it's legal. But I've never smoked the pods. But I know, what your life on social media or what people think about you is always so different. We never, we never know what's going on in someone's home, right? And in someone's heart.
Yeah.
You just don't know. And so, to bring it full circle with all the tabloid writers, I'm sorry they don't care about everybody, because that's what we should all be doing.
And
really,
they're
you should give a thought.
Their demons
and
at
I
some
think
point.
they are, because we're all having to. I joke, we're all forced to wrestle our demons during this time. And I like to picture mine as a WWE wrestler who's got a big belt on and a singlet. And that makes the demon
In
a
a
little less
banana
scary.
hammock.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Obviously, my demons are packing. They're my demons. So I wanna leapfrog off of that for a moment because I don't want this show to end, Michael, without talking about something. You and I didn't know each other.
No.
I didn't even know who the Wek was. Obviously.
Yeah, the Wek.
The Wek. I don't
It's
know.
not, it's not that complicated. It's Wekerle. And on the floor, they couldn't pronounce my name. So on the Toronto Stock Exchange floor, hey, where's that kid from number 80? What's his name? Wek. Just call him Wek. That's how it became.
That's how you got it.
That's how it came.
The Wek.
It's the legend of the Wek, but Foamy it was like an instant connection. Also, mostly because I quarantined at his home. What
True.
fun! Hi, I
What
don't
a
know
way to
you.
get to know
That's how
somebody.
we met. It's how we met.
Nice to meet
staying.
you.
Yeah. Hi, I'm here for 2 weeks.
But Carla, you have to say one thing. I said the only thing that I felt that, like if you think about something that you feel a lesser of a man is when the dog that is your dog, which the name is Reese, he's a chocolate lab, and I'm a big fanatic, and I think that animals really cure you, as does children, as far as going through tough times. Reese sleeps in my room, he follows me everywhere. As soon as Carla shows up, where's Reese? It becomes Carla's dog for 2 weeks. And he was like this, he's like,
It's my
where
boyfriend.
you going? It's like, I go, Reese?
He tried to get in the
I
car.
brought him back
Really?
into Wek World. But I'm telling you, it's like Carla's dog.
Well, as I said to Michael at the time, I'm like, Michael, if I had the same effect on people as I do on dogs, I'd be living in this place. I'd be like, that's right, I'm a baller. Somebody light my cigar. So we bonded really quickly because we both were very close to our moms.
Yes.
And though mine was a few years ago when I lost my mom, very unexpectedly, and you lost your mom
January 5th.
almost a year ago.
Yeah.
How do you think that's changed your life?
It's changed my life a lot, only because I really appreciate all the things that she did for me. And in one sense, with what we've gone through with COVID, and she was in a home at Amica, great place, great facility, but they got to a point where you couldn't visit your parents or your
Right.
grandparents or whoever it may be. And my mom would have just been devastated with that. So in one sense, it was almost a blessing, and I was there at the final moments, and it was extremely sad, extremely tough, but I thank God she was 91. She had a great life. She, has numerous grandchildren and was very instrumental in all their lives. And every one of the grandchildren on their phone or if you open their phone, there's Oma there, and that's what we called my mom, Oma. And she was a teacher, for 40 odd years at.
Oh, my mom was a teacher too. I come from a
and,
teacher family. That's amazing.
And always had that kind of. She never raised her voice ever in her life, and my dad was the opposite. And it was funny to see that kind of difference. I love my dad dearly. He passed about 10 years before my mom. However, it was really tough at first, but through this whole pandemic, I feel kind of a sense of she's there. So I have pictures of her everywhere, and I'm very much still in touch with her. I don't know if that's real or not real, but in my head it is. And
That's what's
I got through with it, and I feel very sad for the people that are sitting in a hospital or in a home of a convalescent or a long-term care facility that can't reach out to their children or their loved ones. And I feel for them. So first responders and the people there, man, I don't know how they're doing it, but keep doing what you're doing. This is going to change, and tomorrow is going to change. But I hope it does sooner than later.
Well, somebody said something I thought that really, really spoke to me, guys, when this all happened, because, it was very frightening. And we're like, what's going on? And, there's no flights. And someone said, and one of my friends said, well, I just don't know what's coming next. I don't know what tomorrow brings. Mm-hmm. And he said, but we never do. I mean, we have to keep that in mind. We always just have this moment.
That's true.
We never, whether there's a pandemic or a war or what have you, we don't, nothing's guaranteed. We don't know what's happening tomorrow. So I think when you take a little perspective that way, and a lot of alcohol, it just makes the whole thing.
Alcohol
I mean,
helps.
look, as I said, I wanted to ask you, Dean, I said it's a bit of a whatever gets you through the night, but what are some things, and I know obviously your family and your children, but what helps you escape or makes you laugh or just where you can just shut down and shut everything off, which must be difficult with 17 children. Dean McDermott, on the way of being the father of his country. Congratulations on the sperm of a warrior.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. And you're pregnant, by the way.
I know.
Just
oh,
by
I
being
already,
in this proximity.
believe me. As I said, I'm nervous about that, but I think I'm glowing, so that's fine. Very superficial.
You are.
So I know. I was like, Dean, I don't know if I can share the stage, because what's up? These are uncertain times, and a single mom, I don't know if I can pull it off. But so what do you, I mean, because you have a great sense of humor, and I think you're getting some of your life stories on stage. You've got control of that, right?
Yeah.
You get to tell your story through a different lens.
That's a great outlet too, to you know, let out a little steam about my children and say things about your children that parents want to say but are afraid to.
It's awesome.
But the thing that I aside from since being here FaceTiming with my kids, that's a great escape for me because I miss them.
Right.
Ice hockey. Ice hockey is my escape.
Right.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
a big hockey
Yeah,
player.
you're a big skater. You're skating today.
I was skating today.
With
were you skating
Elvis
with?
Stoiko
With
named.
my-
I had to
A
catch
legend.
that name.
A legend, Elvis Stoiko.
That's why we're filming at this time, by the way, because I like, Dean, can you come in the morning? He said, oh, on Wednesdays I skate with Elvis Stoiko. I'm like,
that is so
hello.
cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
It's the
Wednesdays
coolest
and-
thing. It's the
Wednesdays and
coolest
Thursdays.
text I've
That
ever
is
gotten.
so cool.
He is the nicest guy in the world. We've
I know
we've
Elvis.
become really, really good friends.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I just met him since I've been here and started skating with him, and my skating has just gone through the roof because he's teaching me edge work and all these little.
And your
Wow.
triple axle
Well,
is
you can't get
amazing.
enough. There's not a better teacher
My
than him.
sow cow is just
Hey, Olympic champions.
And such a wonderful guy.
Oh yeah, I had the
super-
pleasure of
You
meeting his
know him
father.
too.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
him very well. I've never met him actually. To tell you the truth, I've seen him from afar, but I became close, not close, but I met his father probably a dozen times, and he would come to the cricket club where my kids were skating. And I just sit there talking. I didn't know who he was for the first 6 meetings until he told me. And I go, wow. So I would actually, before I would go there to watch my children, I'm now looking for Elvis's father. Oh, there, hey, buddy, how are you? I'm that obnoxious wannabe guy, you know? Hey, buddy, can I get your coffee? Here's some food, okay?
I love that. Well, we all play different parts on the chessboard at different times, right?
Yeah.
So ice hockey. And what about you, Michael?
Well, I'm going through menopause right now, so I just kind
What
of
does
call
that
it.
entail? Is that okay? But
It's-
menopause very different for dudes. So I'm gonna.
your breast tender.
Yeah.
You
No,
know
I'm
what?
gonna guess that
Everything's
he's
tender right now.
driving a Corvette and he's going to Jimmy Buffett concerts. I don't know. I think it's different for guys. They're going
You
on
know,
cruises.
I go to Netflix and I watch dramas now. I go the thrillers and the action movies. You know, were my thing. You know.
and now
No,
you're like, oh, Emily in Paris, fantastic.
You crying a lot. A lot of tears.
But I know that you like to jam. I know that
Yeah,
music's
music
a big
has been a
part.
big outlet for me. My daughter, of course, is a big influence in the sense. My youngest daughter is a musician. She's dropped her other song called "Forever" just today, I think it was. On a
I'm
video.
going to have
Yeah.
her on here because you know I love Raquel
Yeah,
and I
Raquel's
bonded
great.
within seconds.
Yeah, she came to your meditation.
Yep.
You know, I spent a lot of time in Florida because I have a place down there for the last 30 years or so, and I don't have a chance to do it now because of the complications of going back and through the border. So really what grounds me, I'm in Caledon, I moved out of the city, I go for walks, but I don't really do too much other than go for walks, and I've got a lot of good core group of friends. A lot of them are musicians, and it's amazing as you get close to somebody that, you know, you were in awe of, you find out they're just real people like Dean. You know, I don't know Dean very well, but having met him, he's just a real dude. You know, he's just like a person that you sit there and have a beer with and say, you know, talk about hockey or talk about skating or talk about whatever you want to talk about. And as you take it down and take your guard down, you find you get to develop as a person, and you actually become a nicer person too, because you realize that you're not one of these, you know, takers in life. And I don't really have time for it. You know, like I said, at 57, you know, it's one of these times where, you know, I'm on a back nine of my life, there's no doubt. But I enjoy seeing the children growing up and just going through there. You know, I'm always a father and I'm always somebody that likes to have fun. But, you know, I'm now looking at quality people and just being cool about it. You know, you know, I had the pleasure to meet Kim Mitchell. I had the pleasure to meet a bunch of other people in your industry. And some of the people maybe I don't gel with because they want to keep that facade up. But when they break down that facade and you're just the normal guy, man, what a bunch of cool people, because we all go through trials and tribulations. It's coming out of it and how you are. And I make fun of myself all the time. You know,
are
like,
very
oh
self-critical.
God, yeah, like
You have
seriously.
to.
I mean,
You have to. You can't
Yeah,
take yourself
I
too
know.
seriously.
that's because it isn't that serious, and we are all connected if we allow ourselves to be.
Yeah.
As you said, if people keep up the plexiglass,
Yeah.
to use a current term, well, you can't.
No, it
you
really
can only go
is.
so far, right? It's going to be
And
maybe
comedy, thanks to you. I said comedy is a great way to get through. You know, spending 2 weeks with you, I laughed every day. Like we would
I could just
we would be
imagine.
making
She's
food,
so
and
funny.
she's a vegan and she's very strict on it. But I kind of sneak some stuff the odd time. She goes, well. Oh, can't do it, but
Well,
I
I
will watch you.
intermit-
I will watch you eat it, and I will revel in your eating.
What are
I
you
go,
sneaking? Like a hamburger and stuff?
Oh
Like,
man,
what do you, like-
I'm
Dairy?
an equal rights opportunity person, so I do.
Thank God I'm not a douchey vegan. I was an intermittent vegan too, so I'm like, oh, that's cool. This is great. But you know the thing, honestly, Michael, and I know anybody listening is going to absolutely agree with me. You're not the typical successful rich dude, right? Not by.
Well, I'm not as rich as I used to be after the Elmo combo, but
Well,
other than that, it's okay.
Of course, but you're also extraordinarily generous and down to earth, and
Yeah,
because
well,
I was
giving's a
like,
big
I
part
don't
of
know
my
what I'm
life.
walking into, and it just felt like family.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's not usually again, it's like, ooh, people are using the word indubitably, or, you know, I don't know.
Just like, get my thesaurus.
I haven't-
I haven't heard indubitably in a long
Indubitably,
time,
like you
actually.
should hear indubitably more. They're like wearing their Fruit of the Illuminati underpants, fucking Masons or something. I'm swearing more on this show than my entire life, by the way. But
not
it was
true.
just so like
Oh, thank
I
you.
think
Yeah,
I
you're very
found that
kind.
very inspiring.
Thank you. Well, I enjoyed your company, and like I said, there's definitely a lot of sad people, including myself, that you're not quarantining anymore. So when you come back,
Well,
you're
when I
always
come back,
welcome.
I'm going to re-quarantine
Yeah, Reese
at
is
your
so
place
lovely.
We
again.
don't have to when we
Reese,
come back.
I keep a
Hope.
picture of you by Reese, just so he goes.
Oh my God, guys, this has just been phenomenal. Like I feel
Oh,
like
thank
we
you.
had like hashtag mood, like we had a moment.
Yeah, I think I just like knocked out about 5 or 6 therapy sessions. I feel.
And my bill's so reasonable. It's in
I
Canadian
know,
dollars.
it's awesome.
It's just a side hustle for me,
It's
Dean.
awesome.
I got to do what I can. But I want to give you guys the last word. So if there's something I haven't touched upon, and again, during the show, I've just been asking people, if you have anything you want to say or anything you think might touch, not inappropriately, me, of course, because again, I'm fine with it. I'm not a feminist, because they're like, no more photoshopping. I'm like, oh, Jesus, make me look like an impressionist painting. What? Shut up. So if there's something you want to say in our final moments that I haven't touched on, please, like, Dean, if give us your mic drop, baby.
I just want to say thank you for having me on, and it's been lovely to reconnect with you, because I think you are so funny and so kind and so talented and a good friend. So thank you.
Wow.
This is like a kumbaya moment.
I know.
It is. It's totally kumbaya.
You know,
Let's-
I
Well,
always
Dean,
think,
you know,
I hold your
Dean,
hands.
This
Dean,
show is
pleasure to
6
meet you.
hours long
And-
now, Michael, as Dean
and
continues
thank
to
you.
talk about me.
sorry.
It's
Interrupted. Out.
It's the dance version. No.
And I
No.
got to meet this gentleman.
Thank you,
An
Wack.
absolute pleasure.
Am I not a
Absolute
good
pleasure.
pimp? I wanted to put you two together. I'm like,
and
this
I'm
is
just-
gonna be
he's
magic.
Great. You know, it's
Again.
been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for on a whole bunch of different levels. And hey, man, congratulations.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And thank you for saving the Elmo, because it's an incredible place.
Yeah.
It's Toronto's
It is.
place, and everyone out there, support your artists, support your local venues, support your local restaurants. We all need it right now.
And support your local podcast. Carla Collins rocks the Elmo. Super cheap. I do you a good deal. I do you a good deal. Great price. You want whatever you need me to sell. Like
That's
really,
true.
I have no shame, as you know. I'll be a dancing tampon for the right price, but the right price. And I get to pick my moves. But
I actually
gentlemen,
got a visual dancing tampon.
I got
Carla.
excited.
you know, that's some niche stuff. That's right up there with clown and midget porn. Not that I've
Don't get me started on
I've
midget porn.
absolutely
Don't-
watched it.
don't
And
get
when
me
the
started.
when the midget is a clown, I know we can't say it because the whole hashtag Mini Me Too movement. But there's, I want to say thank you for this, for the show, and I'm really loving doing it. So I appreciate Michael that you support
we got to
all
put
the
a mask back on now as we're
Right,
walking
yeah.
off the stage.
mask
so.
up. I'm going to just put a gimp ball in because that keeps everybody a good 6 feet away.
Does that count? Yeah.
So I was trying to think of a signature ending to the show, and I don't have anything because it all sounds cheesy, like, you know, Seacrest out. So I was telling my gay fiance, Michael Webb, who's here, best relationship of my life, by the way, that, you know, I always ended every phone call with my brother. I end every phone call with my brother, who I call pal, with "I love you." I always ended it with my mom, "I love you," and all of my best friends. And then I was on with IT, which I'm always on because I'm like a bonnet away from being Amish. Like, I can't seem to work my fax machine. And this guy spent like a long time with me, cured it or whatever you call it on computers. And I was like, "Thanks so much, Shar." And I'm like, "Love you." And there was like this, it was more awkward than anchor banter, you know, on Global News. It was just like, what? and I thought, fuck it. I like ending everything. So I love you, and I love you guys listening.
I like that too. Fuck it. I love you too.
Thank you,
Bravo.
Michael Wekerle, the Weck. And
Now we're going to go to the
McDermott.
bank and take out some money now.
Yeah. The Weck and the Diener.
I think you guys are honorary rack packers, because I'm calling my close, the people who could, you're going to come back on the show, I hope.
Absolutely.
right?
Sure.
Anytime.
Pretty
For
sure
you,
Michael can,
anytime.
because he's here.
Yeah,
And
I
I'd love you to
live
come
it
back.
here.
So, honorary Rat Packers. Guys, have a great one, and thanks for listening and watching. And on behalf of Dr. Zira and myself, you guys are the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for listening and or watching the inaugural episode of Carla Collins Rocks the Elmo. This is my cozy time. So I am here on what I have nicknamed the Funny Farm. I am blessed to be able to stay on this beautiful farm. It's kind of my home when I'm in Canada with my gay fiance. Perfect relationship. And this big guy is Duke. And Duke has a very special place in my heart. He currently cannot walk, so I come to him. This is Studio Duke. I would really love to thank my guests, Michael Wekerle and Dean McDermott, for stopping by the Elbow and taking the time to talk. And I just wanted to thank you for joining us. And you know, this is obviously a crazy time. That's why I'm having a vegan eggnog and rum. Yeah, I'm that kind of person, whatever. Can you hear a kitty in the background? We're holding it for ransom. There's also a lot of kittens. You're gonna meet the whole gang here on the farm, but a couple things. If you're just listening to my dulcet tones and my phone sex operator adjacent voice, awesome. But if you want to watch this, we really encourage you to do so because the Elmo's just very pretty, and you can just go to my YouTube channel. So just go to Carla Collins. There are a couple of Carla Collinses. One is a porn star. That's not me. Obviously, subscribe to her channel too, but then come on back and subscribe to mine. Again, look, I know there are a billion podcasts, and this one isn't going to fix the world. We just want to keep you company and keep you laughing, keep your spirits up, and keep you roxing. Yes, I've made up that word. I was thinking, you know, when I look back on the interview we just enjoyed together, you know, those a couple very infamous men in Canada, and one's in Hollywood, and one is practically a billionaire, and you think, what could possibly be wrong? So I always feel like we never know what's going on in someone else's backyard. We don't know what someone's going through, what type of day they're having, so want to keep that in mind, right? Like we all have a couple of faces on right now, especially when I'm in makeup. One of my favorite quotes, two I'm gonna lay on you. One is by Charlie Chaplin. I love a lot of his quotes, but one that always struck me was, I always love walking in the rain because nobody sees my tears. That's Charlie Chaplin. He's literally the little tramp, always keeping us laughing. And one was from my mom's collection of wise nuggets, and it's in French, and is Je prends mon bien où je le trouve. I take my good where I can get it. And that's what I suggest we all do. So on behalf of Duke and Dr. Zira and the other animals here and my imaginary friends, I hope you find your good wherever you can, and we'll all be crying in the rain together. How else are you gonna find a rainbow? I'm so unbelievably wise. Santé.